Hello everyone and welcome to my final Krieg gas mask video. This gas mask video is pretty much going to be the final one. At the end of the video I have a bit of a surprise for you guys. So, starting off with the gas mask. Now, back when I made this gas mask, I cut out a 5mm foam. I used patterns from Janovich's video where he made a gas mask video showing how he made his. I then grabbed those files, modified them as best I can, cut them out on my laser using 5mm foam, and then I physically altered them here on my desk with my Stanleys and my Dremel and made the gas mask as you see here. These two pieces, the two main pieces as I call them, left and right main pieces, they were pretty much bang on, they were fine. I did have to trim away a little bit here and here after I tested the gas mask, but that's nothing. The problem I had was this piece here, the jaw piece. A gas mask should be 3 pieces, like the pattern that Janovich had. Mine sadly had to be 4, because while I was messing around with the pattern, I realized that the piece I'd made here wasn't wide enough. So as you can see, this piece here starts at this seam line here, not where the stitching is. That's just detail. This actual seam line here, tighten my glove a little bit. This seam line here, you guys can see it. There you go. You can see it much better there now. This seam line here goes from there to here, to this seam line. But I had to make this piece in the middle. Now this piece goes from where my finger is here to where my thumb is there, and it widens up as it goes and ends up here and here. Now that piece was the headache. I had to add that in order to get it to fit correctly. And I did tell myself, before you glue these 3 pieces together, before you glue all these pieces together, make a pattern. Well, I was going to glue this piece into the middle, then check how these worked, and then I was going to flatten it out, measure it, take a photo of it, put it on a light burn, and make a pattern for it. I ended up not doing that. I feel bad because I could have done this much sooner, but I have a surprise for you guys. At the end of the video, I have a surprise for you guys, but right now I just want to show you that the process I did. So the process is this. This is what I originally made from the Janovich pattern. Way too small. I can even grab the gas mask and show you how small it is. You guys know that it goes from here to here. That's how big I made it. So you can see how I'm missing a lot of it. Also, the actual rounded part where your chin goes, it's not big enough. So after that, I made this pattern. As you can see with this pattern, it is much bigger. If I line that up with the seam line as it should be, it not only doesn't reach this side, it goes from that seam line and doesn't reach this side. The cup is the right size in terms of from here to there, that's perfect. But when you line it up at the bottom, it's too tall, see? There's too much of it here. So I would then have to cut this away and Dremel it and make it fit me. So that goes away. What I ended up doing was making a pattern from paper and masking tape. Whoops, from paper and masking tape. This pattern I then, trimmed a little bit, added here and there, and then I had to add these corner pieces and stuff to make it fit properly. This piece here, actually, now give me a second to make sure it lines up. Bang on there, bang on there. Obviously I've worn this mask a bit, and there's a bit of leniency in the pattern, and obviously I'm having to bend this around the foam. But there you go, that pattern pretty much fits as it should. It's really hard to hold this with one hand and show you, but there you go. So it goes from there to there. Now you're probably wondering about this bit. This is the metal piece. This piece can just get dremeled away a little bit, but as you can see, there's a little bit more here, so I actually have to move it up a touch. Because again, this is paper and I'm trying to bend it to how foam bends, but foam can stretch in more directions than paper. So, but that's the pattern, that there. I took this terrible pattern, took a photo of it on top of some grey foam, took it to light burn, and made this. This is the paper piece that is identical to this paper piece, except it's laser cut. So this laser piece here and this here sit on top of each other, and they're perfect. So This I keep because it's nice to have the original, but this is what I've got on the file, and this fits perfectly where you want it. It also rounds perfectly as well. So, tonight, I cut it out of foam just to show you guys. And I'm also going to show you on here. Now, bear in mind, 5mm and 5mm on top of each other. So you have to give some leniency. Let me just make sure they line up as best as I can. Again, like the paper, the foam can bend, but the foam that's on top is obviously resisting a little bit. So I have to sort of bend it a touch and make sure it lines up so you guys can see. And there you go. So it goes from that seam line, right, let me just line it up for you, right there. And it goes to that seam line right there. So there you go. They line up. It lines up at the chin. It lines up here as well. Obviously, this one's a lot mankier because I had to Dremel it and cut it away, whereas this is much, much cleaner because it's a laser cut. So there's that. That's the chin pattern. I then had issues with the gas mask pieces itself. This is a very old one. This is off an old piece of scrap foam. It's got like loads of laser lines and crap on it because I just took it off the laser while it was cutting. But this was the original piece, and it needed to be made a touch bigger at the top and a touch bigger at the sides, and the hole needed to be made a touch smaller. So from this, I did make a pattern because I had an original pattern. That original pattern is gone and has been for a while. But from that pattern, I was able to make the now genuine Krieg pattern. Now, obviously, this seam here, the edges need to be beveled so that the gas mask can sit, you know, correctly, as does this one. But just to show you guys the pattern in work, I've actually worked out a way of showing you guys in a really fun way. Make sure it lines up. Got to turn it again. This is not really something I thought I was going to do, but I decided to do this and show you. And there you go. So that's the gas mask pattern on top of the gas mask itself. So you can see the hole, obviously this is over the top of the lens. The lens actually has to go through it. So this metal cage bit goes on after. But you can see there, lines up. There's the line that goes all the way down. There's the side view. There's the back, well, the back side view. So that's how that sits. This now means I have a gas mask ready to go with these three pieces, those two there, and this here make the gas mask, right? So I can now make the gas mask. I won't be doing that tonight. It is quite late right now, but I had to make sure I got this pattern done because my next build is going to be another Krieg gas mask. With these patterns I've got, I do have to buy another GP5 gas mask, but that'll be for another day. I can put this together before then, but for now I'm going to wait because I've got some other stuff I need to sort out. We are now nearing the end of the video because I'm very excited to announce to you guys that I'm going to be making this pattern a PDF. And with Janovich's blessing, he has told me that because I've put a lot of work into it and that I can, you know, I've made the pattern work for foam, that it's like a newer pattern now. So I'm going to use this pattern, put it to a PDF, and I'm going to be selling it on Etsy for you guys to grab. It is going to be a gas mask that will fit, I'm going to say, most people. It is difficult. It is difficult indeed to tell you that it'll fit you perfectly, but this gas mask, I will tell you now, is sort of a one size fits all because I have quite a large, well, quite a long face. I have quite a long face, and I want to make sure that there are gas masks out there that will fit most people without having to buy a real one and wear that at a con, because you have to buy a real one and wear that rubber mask all day with. You have to make sure you get a new, you know, ventilator for it, otherwise or a new filter for it, otherwise, you know, you don't use the original ones, they're asbestos, so please don't use those. Obviously I know you have to buy a real gas mask for this, but the only thing you need from that is the main part and the lenses. This is much nicer to wear than a real gas mask because foam is easy to sort of manipulate. You can open it up the sides and let a bit of air in. It's super, super comfy. There might be a need to modify these a little bit when you get them. Obviously, you're going to have to bevel these two to put them together. That's something I can't do on paper, but I can show you guys on the paper, you know, cut this at a, you know, these two at certain angles, and then when you put them together, it'll taper. All the information will be on the PDF, so that'll be fine. And then obviously I suggest using contact cement for this. If you're gonna put these together, use contact cement, and then on the inside use hot glue, so that the outside looks all pristine and shiny. On the inside there'll be a ton of hot glue, like I've done on all the seam lines, basically right down the middle and then the seam lines and stuff. Make sure that the gas mask stays really strong and together, but it'll look so good. So I really hope you guys are excited for that, because I am. I am currently in the process of setting up an Etsy. So once I get that done, it'll be a downloadable file. It'll be super cheap. It's not going to be expensive at all. It'll just be there for anyone who wants to make a Krieg gas mask of their own and they don't know how to use the patterns or whatever. The PDF will be there. It'll explain everything, how to do it. It'll tell you how the pieces go together, even though there's only 3. It'll tell you how the pieces go together, and it'll be super easy, because all you have to do is cut this out. This then you flip over to, then that means you can cut this one out. So it'll be one little piece like that you can then flip over to cut this side out. Once you've cut the 2 sides out, you bevel the 2 middle pieces, put them together. You'll then cut this piece out, and this piece you just bend upwards and then glue the seam lines together. The mask will then relax a bit. You can then put the GP5 sort of filter portion in. You can hot glue that, or however you want to do it. You can glue it in or use the clamp if you want. I've done a bit of both. Once you've done that, you can put the lenses and stuff in, glue those in. You can also use some material to darken the lenses afterwards. But once you've done all of that, you'll have yourself a really nice gas mask. Obviously the last portion will be use webbing and a clip, like I've explained in my other gas mask video on how to wear it. But once you've done that, you've got a gas mask. So I don't know if I'm going to make a video tutorial yet. I think I might just explain it all in some pictures on the PDF. I actually need somebody to give me a hand with doing the PDF, because I've never actually made a PDF file where the pattern needs to be this size on paper, so that when you cut it out and put it onto foam and cut it out, it's identical to this. I need to work that out, so might chat to Evil Ted about that. I'm not sure, because I know that he does a lot of PDF stuff, so we'll see what happens there. But from me and my gas mask pattern, bye for now.